Listen. Oh, can we do that without him? Yeah. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, welcome back. We are back in open session now, and we'll carry on with our work today. We came out of closed session with we received privileged legal advice, just to let you know that. All right, so the next on the agenda, we want to put up the recommendation that is coming forward today that we are going to be voting on. It's slightly different than the one that you received in your package, only a little more explanation, I would say. So I don't know, David, if you can put that up. So in terms of content, there isn't any difference except that we wanted to recognize the joint steering committee and the working group as part of the guiding process for the development of this draft of the official plan. And the rest of it reads as put out to you before, just in terms of recognition. So that's what we have here. And then I believe that our next item will be simply Director Pink's report to us that again was in your package. So I'll just ask him to verbally go over that, especially for the people who may be listening in right now. So Director Pink.
Thank you, Chair. Just very quickly, I think there's a brief report in your agenda package, fairly self-explanatory. I'm sure committee members recall this matter was discussed at the council meeting on February 10th. Council wished to have a combination of a bit more time to review the draft official plan amendment, also an opportunity to ask some questions of both staff and legal counsel. We've just concluded the in-camera session to receive that privilege advice. I did also prepare responses to some of the more planning-focused questions and attach that as an appendix to the report. And again, outlined the process so that committee is clear on the next steps. And that is that this is really the commencement of the planning process. We will send out a notice and circulate to the area owners and hold a public meeting in order to gain further input. I guess I can take this opportunity just to clarify one of the delegates, Mr. Richards' comments on notice. You know, the intention would not be to get this out certainly more than 2 weeks prior to the public meeting, just so committee members are aware. The Planning Act actually stipulates the minimum required time. I believe it's 20 days prior to the meeting. Staff will certainly aim to do much more than that in order to have ample time for the community to digest the preliminary draft official plan amendment. It would not be sort of a non-public meeting where the community is informed by way of the agenda being released. This has to be circulated and meet statutory timelines. So hopefully that helps clarify. I'm certainly available to expand on or clarify any of the questions that were responded to in the report if the committee had any questions.
Thank you, Director Pink. So just to clarify again, we are still in the information gathering stage here. And so this report is going out as written so that we can get our public's input and hopefully our some of the individuals, people who live near, people interested. We've heard from interest groups, but now individuals. So before we start to look at this draft in terms of starting to talk about it, starting to talk about formulating policy, we need to have all of the information. And that actually is legally what we need to do if we read our book on what councillors need to do. So we are just gathering information at this point. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody understood that. Once it comes back and whatever comes back from the public will be looked at, and under Director Pink's supervision, there may be some tweaks to it, and then it comes back to us to start to really look at what we would like to have in terms of policy in here. So I know that the answers were published from the questions that came in from councillors, but is there anyone who would like clarification? Any other questions that anybody would like to ask? Certainly, now's the time. Councillor Jaglowitz.
Thank you, Chair. Actually, I have a request and a statement, but nothing on the questions. Is it okay for me to do that now, or would you like me to wait after the questions?
Well, apparently there aren't any questions, so please go ahead.
So my request is that since this report was prepared by the working group, we also had the Minett Steering Committee that also prepared a report, and I would appreciate if that report could also be in the same folder or available to the public in a similar fashion. It doesn't have to be part of the public record, but be clearly available so they can see what that committee also recommended. And my statement is that I have read the report. I'm not endorsing it. I'm interested in the public input, and I will make my comments on it once I have received that public input. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jaglowitz. Well, reinforce that there is no endorsement here. We are just simply sending this out to the public for comment, but I do not believe that, well, I can see Director Pink would like to speak, so I'll turn it over to him.
Thank you. I just wanted to simply clarify, I believe the request Member Jaglowitz was to make the Minett Joint Policy Review Steering Committee report available to the public. They did present their findings at a meeting of council, so that is a public document. It is part of a public record, and it can certainly be provided to members of the public if requested. It was on the agenda, I believe it was last summer, that they did present their final findings. I believe if that was the request.
The supplementary, I just asked that there might be a link to it just so they could find it easily rather than having to wade through meeting after meeting. Once again, I'm not endorsing it. We're not endorsing it. It's a public document. I just thought it's probably should be easily available to the public.
Would you like to respond, David?
Certainly, thank you. Thank you, Chair. Through you, I think what I would like to do, time permitting, is probably set up an engage on our Engage Muskoka website, similar to the official plan review. I can create a project page for this, and it will allow a bit of an interface for the public, and I can provide those links and documents for the public.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, any other questions? No, then I will read the motion. Moved by Councillor Edwards, seconded by Councillor Mazan. Whereas Township Council has received extensive input and recommendations from both the Minett Joint Policy Review Steering Committee and the working group, which guided the development of a preliminary draft official plan amendment for the resort village of Minett. And whereas Township Council is desirous of receiving public and agency input in an effort to further refine the preliminary draft official plan amendment for the resort village of Minett, now therefore be it resolved that the Planning Committee recommends to Township Council that draft official plan amendment XX resort village of Minett be circulated for public and other stakeholders' comments, and further that an open house and statutory public meeting be scheduled. Any questions, comments? All in favor? That carries unanimously. Okay. Okay, thank you very much. And I don't believe we have any new business today. So I will read the motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Zavitz, seconded by Councillor Jaglowitz. Be it resolved that Planning Committee adjourn at 3:17 p.m. All in favor? Okay, thank you very much, everyone, and have a good rest of the day and a good weekend. Thank you.